Marvelous Moab, Arches, Canyonland, and Dead Horse Point.
Hey, Guy and Roseanne here. Welcome back to Amore Van. Recently, we spent several days in beautiful Moab, Utah, and we thought we'd bring you some tips while you look at some of the beautiful sights that we saw. If you're approaching Moab from the east, the beauty starts well before you actually get to Utah as you take this lovely drive up and over the Colorado Rockies. Once you get to the western side of the Rockies, you come to the equally beautiful Colorado and Utah deserts. If, like us, you're headed for Arches National Park, keep in mind that once you're inside Arches, there won't be any place for you to hook up to fill your water tank. Devil's Garden Campground inside Arches has potable water, but not from threaded spigots. So, if you're arriving in Moab with tanks that aren't quite full, I highly recommend that you top off your tanks before you enter the park. Depending on your length of stay, you may even want to consider filling up a few extra containers. Keep in mind that the desert is both hot and dry, and you're going to find that you might consume as much as double the amount of drinking water as you ordinarily do in a given day. There are a number of places in downtown Moab where you can fill your water tanks for a nominal fee. One such place that we chose is Farm and City Feed and RV Supply. For a $5 fee here, you can fill your tank and also dump if need be. Once inside the national park, the beauty begins even at the campground, Devil's Garden, the only campground inside Arches. As you can see from these pictures, we are surrounded by beauty just in the campground itself. If you haven't secured reservations for Devil's Garden, don't let that stop you from visiting Arches. There are many, many dispersed campgrounds on BLM land surrounding the park. Just remember that if you don't have a Devil's Garden reservation, Arches is a timed entry reservation park, so make sure you get a timed entry reservation. Apart from the campground, inside Arches there are some iconic things to see, including this hike to the north and south windows seen here.
One of the highlights in the park is the hike to the Delicate Arch. It should not be missed. However, you should really start early in the morning before it gets too hot, or later in the day when it gets a little cooler. One of the advantages of going later in the day is that you'll be able to see the arch bathed in the sunlight as the sun sets. So while you're doing this hike, just remember the payoff is at the end. A beautiful view. Our spot at the arch was just around the corner from where you get the view of this beautiful scenery. I can't tell you how many people came around, and the first thing you hear is wow. And here you see Delicate Arch, bathed in the light of the setting sun. While many of the rock formations have names, one of the things I like to do is use my imagination when I'm looking at other rock formations. So, what do you see? Grumpy old man? Papa Smurf.
While camped at Arches National Park, it was time for a day trip down the road to Canyonlands National Park. The drive between the parks is this beautiful drive through a canyon in the Utah desert. One of the things to keep in mind about Canyonlands National Park is that it is divided into 4 distinct segments: Island in the Sky, the Needles, the Maze, and the Rivers. These 4 districts are not internally connected by roads within the park, so visiting them all requires driving around the perimeter of the park and would require a multi-day visit. We opted to visit only the Island in the Sky district, which is the one closest to Arches National Park. As you can see from these photographs, the views within Island in the Sky district are spectacular, making it well worth the day trip from Arches. The route between Canyonlands and Arches also allows for a quick detour into Dead Horse Point State Park, where you can see what is now referred to as Thelma and Louise Point, where the famous finale of the movie was shot, as well as the namesake Dead Horse Point, surrounded by this remarkable bend in the Colorado River.
So as you can see, Moab really is a beautiful place. If you'd like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel by clicking on the Amore van icon that just popped up. We hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time here at Amore Van.